Hello and thanks for joining us. This is The What Now. Let's begin in the United States, where the House of Representatives has voted to advance a bipartisan bill to raise the debt ceiling, which limits the amount of money the federal government can borrow. After calling for a recorded vote, the House passed the bill 314 to 117 in a late-night sitting on Wednesday. The vote comes as the government approaches a Monday deadline to lift the debt ceiling or default on its loans, a prospect experts warn could have devastating effects on the U.S. economy. The bill will now go to the Senate, where the Democrats have a slim majority. There is more in the following report.
Republican House Speaker Kevin Mccarthy faced a divided party as he rallied vote for the 99-page deal, which would suspend the $31.4 trillion borrowing limit until January 2025. Far-right members of the Republican Party blasted the agreement that was first announced on Sunday after days of negotiation between the congressional representatives and members of President Joe Biden's White House. Among the criticisms was the fact that the proposed spending cuts were not as deep as many Republicans hoped. This deal fails completely, Representative Scott Perry of Pennsylvania said at a news conference on Tuesday for the House Freedom Caucus, a far-right bloc of representatives.
Speaker McCarthy had a mandate from the American people, negotiated with a powerful negotiation position of a unified Republican Party, not only just in the House, but in the House and the Senate, to hold the line for the bill that we passed. This deal that we've heard about totally fails to deliver on all of it.
Another representative of the press conference, Texas's Chip Roy, said that the Republican right now has been turned asunder by the terms of the deal.
We are working hard to try to put it back together again this weekend by making sure that this bill gets stopped. I want to be very clear. Not one Republican should vote for this deal. Not one. If you're out there watching this, every one of my colleagues, be very clear. Not one Republican should vote for this deal. It is a bad deal.
In the event, some 71 hardline Republicans voted against the bill. While that would normally be enough to block partisan legislation, 165 Democrats backed the measure and pushed it through. Before the vote, even progressive House Democrats had voiced their opposition, condemning proposed changes to food assistance and other social safety net programs. Democratic leadership in the House, however, promised to prevent any default from occurring.
Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
The White House also defended the deal against allegations that its compromises were too costly during daily briefing with Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre. The White House, she explained, had made more than 120 one-on-one calls with members of the Congress to show up support for the agreement ahead of the vote. Politicians are now looking to ensure swift passage by the Senate, where the Democrats have a majority, and ensure government checks continue to go out to Social Security recipients, veterans, and others, and prevent financial upheaval at home and abroad. Senate Majority Leader warned that there was no room for error as he and Mitch McConnell, the Republican Minority Leader, said they hoped to move to enact the legislation before the weekend.